perspective, Gossec Gavotte is a pretty good place to start thinking about using your fingers a little more for your bow strokes and your string crossings. Gossec Gavotte has a million string crossings, some of which are pretty quick, and so it's not very efficient to be moving your whole arm up and down when you really can just do it with your fingers. Okay. Now, this finger flexibility thing, this is not something I would expect you to master in a day. In fact, I think if you start now, about 10 years from now, you should be really, really good at it. But some steps you can go through to get there. I would start maybe just with some spider push-ups on my leg here. So I'm extending my fingers out long, smushing them down, extending them long, smushing them down. Okay, and what I'm really looking at here is that this joint up top is flexible, and that one's moving. All right. Once I get good at it on my leg, I might try it just in the air. All right. So I'm making a flat surface here on the top of my hand, and then dropping all those fingers straight down. Flat surface, straight down. Okay, and imagine there's a little man sitting right here, and I drop him off the cliff. Okay? Kind of like that image. Just so you know, this is not easy in general for hands that haven't experienced it before. So I've been doing it a long time. I don't have a problem with it. You might when you start. All right, give yourself some time. Then again, once you get good at that, go ahead and try it with your bow. I'm holding onto my bow with the other hand, so I don't have to support the weight. Got my normal old bow hold, including my curved thumb in the back. And I'm going from just long extended fingers to kind of smushed up fingers. Looking at this right here, this joint, if it's the one moving. Long fingers, smushy, long fingers, smushy. Okay, and people tend to find that it's really easy to do this. That's what a lot of people try to do when they first start this. That's really not it, unfortunately. All right, so you're going to go long and then up, long and up. All right, and my bow hold's staying normal, and my thumb is staying pretty curved back there. Okay. Once you're good at that, try it on some open strings. I'd suggest just kind of get your arm nice and close, plop your bow down at the frog, and ask a friend or family member, or you can even do it to yourself, to just hold on gently to your hand right about here, and then play me some open strings, only using your fingers. Okay, so my arm's not moving, my wrist is moving very little, mostly it's just my fingers. When I'm on the upper string, I've kind of got that flat thing on top. When I go down to the lower string, I extend them out so they're long, right? It's a lot my pinky is doing a lot of the work here, pushing the bow up and down. So string crossings, you could go over 2 strings or 3 strings, trying to isolate those fingers as much as possible. Okay, or you could even just stay on 1 string. So let's try see what would happen if we put this with the notes of Gossec Gavotte. Okay? So I would not really play it this way in the end. I'm just doing it for practice and to exercise my fingers a little bit. But I'm going to try to play Gossec Gavotte exactly like I was just doing, as though someone were holding onto my hand. Maybe someone still is holding onto your hand. But just adding the notes. So it's going to look like this. Okay, not so beautiful. But that's okay for now. Now again, I really wouldn't play it that way in the end. I would move my arm some. But for the string crossings, especially the big one, you know this one? I would definitely try to get some finger motion in there. So we've got grabbing the string on each note, and then trying to do some of that string crossing with my fingers, okay? Now, one other spot in this piece where I think it really is pretty essential to not do a whole arm string crossing, but rather to use some of your smaller muscles, is in measure 20, that fast 16th note spot, okay? Because if we play it with our whole arm, going up for that one little lonely note on the A string, it gets a little klutzy. Watch what this would be like. Okay, you see how that A kind of stuck out? Not so beautiful. Well, if I do it with smaller muscles, I think I can make it a little more subtle. So, see that sound a little more even? And all I did was when I went up to the A string, I just kind of flicked my hand up there and quickly back down. Right? Now, as an intermediate step to practice this, I'd simplify the notes a little. I would just play. Okay, so that's E, G, A, G. arm, just your fingers. Then I might add in a couple more of the notes. Or, okay, now this spot is definitely also a spot that would be appropriate to do nice slow practice, right? Definitely a good idea. But some of that quick practice, or just to add a note, maybe I'll start with only 2 notes. You go to 3. Because, you know, how fast you can play this measure really determines how fast you can play the whole piece. If you're pretty zippy on it, you know, you got, well, then you can play the beginning. Right, but if you're not quite to that point yet, and you're feeling more comfortable with da da dee da dee da da da, well, then the beginning goes like this. Okay, so practicing that one measure quite a bit so you can get it up to speed makes it so you can kind of, well, have a little more fun with the rest of it too. Alright, now one other real quick practice spot, the very last measure. You got to go back pretty quickly between pizz and arco, right? You've got pizz, pizz. And this is a motion we don't do a whole lot. You know, this transition real quick between my regular bow hold and my bow kind of curled up in my fist with my first finger stuck out, ready to pluck, right? And so what I would do to start, just practice in the air a bunch of times. If you drop your bow, well, you drop your bow. You'll get better at it with time, right? And you need that first finger out because that's the one that's going to be ready to pick. So let's try it on the string. We're going to start 2 up bows, B, C, pizz, pizz, and again. Pizz, pizz, and again. Little faster. Sorry, that was totally unclear. Anyway, you get the idea. Alright, I'm going to play the whole thing through for you. I'm not going to do repeats for now because it gets a little long. And feel free to play along with me. Okay? So nice moderate tempo. Yum, bum, bim, bum. Ready, play. forgot the pits. Sorry about that. All right, and then it goes back to the beginning, of course, because there's a DC al fine. Now, I am going to go back to the beginning, but I'm going to play it slightly differently, because once you've got that initial stage of just being able to play it cleanly and clearly and super in tempo, then I think you can have a little fun with it. I think this piece just lends itself so well to kind of over-the-top cutesy phrasing. And I am cheesy like that. So, you know, rather than just playing it totally straight, I might think of something like... fun with it, see what you can do with phrasing, dynamics, maybe playing with the time a little bit of slowing down here, a little bit of speeding up, don't go overboard, which I just kind of did. But anyway, it's a really fun piece. So enjoy it and see if you can get those fingers moving and participating.